Snow across Scotland, gale force winds, temperatures dropping to -15. That's what we're re-looking at. I've examined the latest models from the Met Office, ECMWF, and the GFS. And what we are seeing is a rather significant pattern shift developing across the United Kingdom. This isn't your typical January weather. This is something that requires attention. Right now, the contrast across the country couldn't be more stark. And I know this because conditions are varying considerably from region to region. Across the southwest, from Cornwall through Devon and into Somerset, it's been mild and damp this week. Temperatures running 5 to 8 degrees above the seasonal average. That mild, unsettled air mass has been sitting over the region for days now. But that changes. And it changes fast. In Wales, it's been wet. Heavy rainfall warnings were in effect this morning in several areas. That Atlantic moisture has been streaming in relentlessly. That pattern shifts dramatically starting late tonight. Moving to the Midlands, Birmingham and surroundings have been quiet. Temperatures hovering around 7 degrees, grey skies, rather dull conditions. That extended mild spell ends by midweek. Compare that to the Scottish Highlands. Temperatures dropped to -8 this morning in some areas. Bitterly cold with a sharp easterly wind. That the Arctic air we are going to be talking about. That the air mass that going to dominate the forecast for the next 72 hours. Devon has enjoyed pleasant weather for the past fortnight. Mild and dry by January standards. That's going to feel like a distant memory by Thursday. And then there's East Anglia. Many areas haven to seen a decent covering of snow for several winters. Rather boring conditions in recent weeks. This pattern shift has potential. I am not making promises, but there's potential. Let me walk you through the meteorology, because understanding what's happening will help you prepare properly. The jet stream is the key to everything right now. For the past week, we've had a rather zonal flow. That means west to east, Atlantic air streaming across the country, mild, wet, unsettled. That is what you've been experiencing, but the pattern is breaking down. The jet stream is beginning to buckle. We are seeing what meteorologists call an amplification. The flow is becoming more meridional. That means north to south. High pressure is building over Scandinavia. This is a blocking high. It's positioned at around 65 degrees north, centered roughly over southern Norway. Pressure values exceeding 1,030 millibars. That high pressure is going to redirect the flow. Instead of mild Atlantic air, we're going to tap into Arctic air from the Norwegian Sea and beyond. Air that's been sitting over ice and snow for weeks. At the same time, low-pressure systems from the Atlantic are being forced south. They can penetrate that Scandinavian block, so they're retracking across southern Britain and northern France instead. This creates what we call a cold conveyor. Arctic air floods south and west across the North Sea. It meets the moisture from those Atlantic lows. And when cold air meets moisture, you get precipitation. And in this case, that precipitation falls as snow. The ECMWF model is quite bullish on this pattern. It is showing the blocking high persisting through Friday, possibly into the weekend. The UKMO model is slightly less aggressive, but agrees on the broad setup. The GFS is the outlier, showing a quicker breakdown. But even the GFS has cold air pushing in. My confidence in this forecast is high for the next 48 hours. Very high. After Thursday, there is more uncertainty about how quickly the pattern evolves. But for Tuesday night through Thursday, I am very confident. Now let's break this down regionally, because the impacts are going to vary significantly depending on where you are, starting with Scotland, because you are already experiencing the coldest conditions and you are going to see the most significant impacts first. The Scottish Highlands and northern Scotland are looking at extremely challenging conditions Tuesday night into Wednesday. Temperatures dropping to -10 to -15 Celsius in sheltered glens. That is 15 to 20 Fahrenheit for those who prefer it. With wind chill, it'll feel more like -20 to -25 Celsius. Snowfall beginning Tuesday evening. Initially light, but intensifying through the night. By Wednesday morning, we are forecasting 10 to 20 centimeters across the higher ground. Above 600 meters, potentially 30 centimeters or more. Winds are the critical factor. Easterly winds strengthening to 50 to 60 miles per hour, with gusts potentially hitting 70 to 80 miles per hour over exposed summits. That creates blizzard conditions, zero visibility, whiteout conditions. If you're planning any activity in the mountains, whether hill walking, climbing, or skiing, you need to reconsider. These are dangerous conditions. The avalanche risk will be considerable. The Mountain Weather Information Service will have specific warnings, but I'm telling you now, stay off the high ground unless you're properly equipped and experienced. The Central Belt, including Glasgow and Edinburgh, won't escape this. Temperatures dropping to -5 to -8 Celsius Tuesday night. Snow beginning late Tuesday, continuing through Wednesday. We are looking at 5 to 10 centimetres in Glasgow, slightly less in Edinburgh due to its eastern position. Transport disruption is likely. The M8, M9 and M80 could see significant problems Wednesday morning. Train services may be affected. Flights from Glasgow and Edinburgh airports could face delays or cancellations. For those in southern Scotland and the borders, you are in a transitional zone. Snow Tuesday night turning to sleet and then rain by Wednesday afternoon as milder air tries to push back in from the south. Freezing rain is a possibility in some areas. That S rain falling onto surfaces below freezing, creating instant ice. Extremely hazardous for driving. Moving south into northern England, the situation is complex because you rewrite on the boundary between cold air to the north and milder air to the south. Newcastle, Sunderland and the northeast coast are looking at snow Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, 5 to 8 centimetres likely. Easterly winds off the North Sea, bringing frequent snow showers. Temperatures -3 to -5 Celsius. The Pennines are going to be heavily affected. Snow beginning Tuesday evening, persistent through Wednesday. Higher routes like the M62 Trans-Pennine crossing could become impassable. We are forecasting 15 to 25 centimetres above 400 metres. Winds gusting to 60 miles per hour, creating drifting snow. If you need to cross the Pennines on Wednesday, allow significantly extra time. Better yet, consider delaying your journey or finding an alternative route further south. The Peak District will see similar conditions. Manchester and Liverpool are in that awkward zone. You'll start with rain Tuesday evening. As temperatures drop overnight, that transitions to sleet and then snow. By Wednesday morning, snow showers. Accumulations of 3 to 5 centimetres likely in Manchester, slightly less in Liverpool due to coastal influence, but enough to cause disruption. Leeds and Bradford are looking at more significant snowfall, 8 to 12 centimetres possible by Wednesday evening. Temperatures hovering around -2 to 0 Celsius. Cumbria and the Lake District will be buried. The western slopes facing the Irish Sea will see persistent snow Tuesday night through Thursday morning. We're reforecasting 20 to 30 centimetres at low levels, 40 to 60 centimetres above 300 metres. Some of the higher fells could see 70 centimetres or more. Roads into the lakes will be treacherous. Kirkstone Pass, Hardknot Pass, Rhinos Pass, all impassable. Even the A591 around Thirlmere and Grasmere could become blocked. If you are planning a lakes visit this week, postpone it, moving to the Midlands, Birmingham, Nottingham, Leicester and surrounding areas. The further south you are in the Midlands, the less snow you will see. But you are not escaping this entirely. Birmingham is right on the knife edge. Models are split between 3 centimetres and 8 centimetres of snow Wednesday. That uncertainty is frustrating, I know, but it is the nature of these marginal setups. A shift of 30 miles in the boundary makes the difference between rain and significant snow. What I can say with confidence, Tuesday night sees rain turning to sleet. Wednesday morning brings snow showers. Whether that accumulates significantly depends on how far south the cold air penetrates. But even 3 centimetres causes problems in Birmingham because the infrastructure isn't designed for it. The East Midlands, Nottingham, Leicester, Derby are slightly more likely to see accumulating snow. 5 to 10 centimetres possible Wednesday. Temperatures dropping to -1 to -3 Celsius. Roads will be icy. Schools may close. Expect disruption. Wales is going to see a dramatic transition. And this is where the forecast gets interesting from a meteorological perspective. Right now across Wales, you are dealing with mild, wet conditions. Heavy rain warnings have been in effect. That changes spectacularly Tuesday night. North Wales, particularly Snowdonia, is looking at very heavy snowfall. The flow will be easterly, which means air crossing the Irish Sea picks up moisture, then rises over the mountains. We are forecasting 25 to 40 centimetres across Snowdonia Tuesday night through Wednesday. Higher summits, potentially 60 centimetres. The A5 through Snowdonia, the A470, these routes will be severely affected, likely closed. Don T attempt them. Mid-Wales will see significant snow as well, 10 to 20 centimetres likely. Temperatures -4 to -6 Celsius. Rural communities could become cut off. If you live in an isolated area, stock up on essentials now. South Wales is the transitional area. Cardiff and the coast will see rain turning to sleet, possibly snow for a time Wednesday morning. But accumulations will be minimal, perhaps 1 to 3 centimetres. The valleys heading north from Cardiff, the heads of the valleys road, that S where snow becomes significant. 5 to 10 centimetres in the valleys, more on higher ground. Swansea and the western coast will likely stay as rain and sleet. The maritime influence keeps you just too mild for significant snow, but it'll feel raw and unpleasant. Now we come to the southeast and London, and I know many of you are wondering, will we see snow? The honest answer is Possibly, but probably not significant amounts. London and the immediate home counties are on the southern edge of this system. Tuesday night brings rain, heavy at times. As temperatures drop towards dawn Wednesday, there's a window where that could turn to sleet or wet snow, but surface temperatures are likely to remain above freezing due to the urban heat island effect. Models are showing perhaps 1 to 3 centimeters of slushy snow Wednesday morning in outer London suburbs. Central London, likely just cold rain, but that's enough to cause chaos on the roads and railways if it happens during morning rush hour. Kent, Surrey, Sussex, you are in a similar boat. A brush with snow Wednesday morning, but nothing like what Scotland and Northern England will see. Perhaps 2 to 5 centimetres in higher areas of the North Downs and South Downs, coastal areas staying as rain. East Anglia, this is where it gets interesting for you. You've been waiting for snow. This setup has potential because the easterly flow off the North Sea will be feeding moisture directly into the region. Norfolk, Suffolk, Cambridgeshire, you are looking at snow showers Wednesday and Thursday. The intensity will fluctuate, but persistent snow showers off the North Sea can accumulate. We're reforecasting 5 to 10 centimetres by Thursday evening, possibly more in a few locations if showers train over the same areas repeatedly. Temperatures -1 to -3 Celsius, easterly winds making it feel more like -8 to -10. The wind chill will be brutal. The East Anglian coast, Great Yarmouth, Lowestoft, Southwold, you'll be hammered by those North Sea showers. Frequent snow, blowing and drifting, horizontal snow at times, visibility dropping to near zero and heavy showers. Roads across East Anglia will be treacherous Thursday. The A11, A14, A47, all problematic. And because East Anglia doesn't see this often, the gridding and clearing won't to be as efficient as in northern areas, Northern Ireland, Belfast and surroundings. You're going to see a mix. Tuesday night brings rain and sleet. Wednesday sees snow showers developing, particularly in areas east of the Bann. Accumulations 3 to 8 centimetres likely. Temperatures -2 to 0 Celsius. The hills of County Down and County Antrim will see more. 10 to 15 centimetres possible above 200 metres. The glens of Antrim could be badly affected. Ferry services across the Irish Sea will be disrupted. Strong easterly winds Tuesday night into Wednesday, 40 to 50 miles per hour, with gusts potentially 60 miles per hour. Combined with snow showers, that creates hazardous conditions. Check with your operator before travelling. Now let us talk about the broader impacts and what you need to do to prepare. Transport is going to be significantly disrupted. I've mentioned specific routes, but the general principle applies everywhere. If snow is forecast in your area, avoid travelling unless absolutely necessary. Rail services will be affected. We saw this in 2018 during the Beast from the East. Snow on the tracks, points failures, overhead line problems. Expect delays and cancellations Wednesday and Thursday across much of the network. If you rebooked on a train Wednesday or Thursday, check before you leave home. Consider rebooking for Friday if possible, or work from home if your employer allows. Major airports will face problems. Glasgow, Edinburgh, Manchester, Birmingham all could see delays or cancellations Wednesday. De-icing takes time. Runways need clearing. Arriving early doesn't help if flights are cancelled. Check your flight status obsessively. Have a backup plan. Driving in snow is dangerous if you're not experienced. I know many people in southern England haven't driven in snow for years. Some of you have never driven in significant snow. If you must drive, reduce your speed dramatically. Gentle on the accelerator, gentle on the brakes. Increase your following distance to at least 10 times normal. Use the highest gear possible to reduce wheel spin. Keep your lights on. Clear all snow from your car before setting off, including the roof. Carry emergency supplies. A blanket, warm clothes, food, water, a charged mobile phone. If you get stuck, stay with your vehicle. Run the engine periodically for heat, but make sure the exhaust isn't blocked by snow. For those of you with diesel vehicles, cold weather can cause diesel to gel. Make sure you're reusing winter-grade diesel. If your car has been sitting outside in -10 temperatures overnight, it might not start. That's normal for diesel in extreme cold. Power cuts are possible, particularly in rural areas with overhead lines. Snow accumulation on power lines combined with strong winds can bring lines down. Have torches, batteries, and candles ready. Charge your mobile devices fully. If you have a camping stove or alternative cooking method, get it ready. Check on vulnerable neighbours. Elderly people living alone, anyone with mobility issues, anyone who might struggle to get out to shops. A knock on the door and an offer to pick up shopping can make a huge difference. Health considerations are important in this weather. The cold affects people differently. Older people, very young children, anyone with heart or lung conditions, you are more vulnerable. Hypothermia can develop surprisingly quickly in these temperatures, particularly if you get wet. If you're going out, layer up properly. Base layer, insulating layer, waterproof outer layer. Hat and gloves are essential. You lose a tremendous amount of heat through your head. Frostbite is a risk at -10 to -15 Celsius with wind chill. Exposed skin can develop frostbite in under 30 minutes. Cover your face if you are out in these conditions. Slips and falls on ice send thousands of people to hospital every winter. Many of you remember the winter of 2010 when A&E departments were overwhelmed with fractures and head injuries. Take your time, wear appropriate footwear, penguin walk if necessary, small steps, feet flat. If you have respiratory conditions like asthma or COPD, cold air can trigger symptoms. Keep your reliever inhaler with you at all times. Consider covering your mouth and nose with a scarf to warm the air before you breathe it in. Now, I need to address the comparison to past events, because some of you are thinking about the Beast from the East in 2018. Is this the same? No, this is not Beast from the East Mark II. That was a more prolonged, more extensive, and more severe pattern. That event saw Siberian air flooding across the entire continent. We had temperatures below -10 across most of Britain for several days, snow on the ground for over a week in many areas. This event is shorter lived. The Scandinavian blocking pattern isn't as robust. We're re-looking at 48 to 72 hours of significant cold and snow, not a week or more. That said, this is still a notable event. Snow accumulations in Scotland could rival 2018 in some areas. The wind chill will be comparable. So Don T dismissed this just because it is not Beast from the East scale. For context, the winter of 62 to 63, which many of the older viewers remember, that was in a different league. That was 3 months of persistent cold. The sea froze in some coastal areas. We were nowhere near that. But this is more than just another winter cold snap. This is significant. This requires preparation. This requires respect. Looking ahead to Thursday, Friday, and the weekend, the pattern begins to break down. The Scandinavian high weakens. Atlantic influence returns. Milder air starts to push back in from the west and southwest. Thursday sees snow continuing across eastern areas, particularly East Anglia and the northeast coast. But it's beginning to ease in western areas. Temperatures still below freezing in many places, -2 to +2 Celsius. Friday brings a transition, snow turning back to sleet and rain from the west. Temperatures rising to 3 to 6 Celsius in western areas, still below freezing in eastern areas. A messy day, slushy, icy conditions as snow begins to melt, then refreezes overnight. The weekend looks milder. Saturday and Sunday temperatures returning to 6 to 10 Celsius for most areas, but with extensive snowmelt comes the risk of flooding, particularly in areas that see significant accumulations. Rivers will rise, drains will struggle. Local flooding is possible. Early next week, models are showing another potential for colder air. It is too far out to be specific, but there are signals that this pattern isn't finished. The jet stream remains disturbed. Another plunge of cold air is possible around Tuesday or Wednesday next week. I'll be updating you as we get closer and the models converge on a solution. But be aware, this might not be a one-off event. We might be in for an unsettled couple of weeks. Let me give you specific actions you should take today, tonight, and tomorrow. Today, Tuesday afternoon, stock up on essentials, bread, milk, tinned goods, medications. Not panic buying, just sensible preparation. If you are snowed in for 2 or 3 days, you'll be glad you did. Fill up your car with petrol. Get cash out, because if power goes down, card machines don to work. If you have pets, make sure you have enough food for them. Walk dogs before the snow arrives. Once it's falling heavily, it's miserable for both you and the dog. Charge all devices. Mobile phones, laptops, tablets, torches, anything with a battery. If power goes out, you will need them. Tonight, Tuesday evening, bring garden furniture inside or secure it. Strong winds can turn unsecured items into projectiles. Protect outdoor plants if possible, though frankly in -10 temperatures, tender plants are going to suffer regardless. Insulate outdoor pipes. Burst pipes are expensive and disruptive. A bit of lagging now saves a lot of problems later. Set heating to come on periodically overnight, even if you normally turn it off. Keeping the house temperature above freezing helps prevent pipe problems. Wednesday. If you're in an affected area and snow is falling, don't go out unless you absolutely must. Work from home, cancel non-essential appointments. It's not worth the risk. If you do go out, tell someone where you're going and when you expect to be back. Especially if driving, check on neighbors, as I mentioned earlier. Keep monitoring forecasts. Conditions can change. The boundary between rain and snow can shift. I'll be providing updates, but also check Met Office warnings and your local conditions. Thursday and Friday. Conditions begin to improve in western areas, but eastern areas still affected. Don't assume it's over. The thaw brings its own problems with ice and flooding. I want to emphasize this is not fear-mongering. This is not exaggeration. This is a significant weather event that will affect millions of people across the United Kingdom. The Met Office will issue amber warnings for snow, possibly red warnings for the most affected areas. You've seen winter before. Many of you have experienced worse than this. I am not suggesting this is unprecedented, but it is significant enough that preparation is essential. The elderly viewers who remember the 60s and 70s, you are sitting there thinking we used to call this winter. I respect that. You are right. Society has perhaps become less resilient to winter weather. We are more car dependent, more reliant on just-in-time delivery, less likely to have a week's worth of food in the cupboard. But that doesn't change the fact that for people who aren't used to this, who don't have snow tires, who've never driven in a blizzard, this is challenging. Respect is a two-way street. Respect the weather, but also respect that not everyone has your experience. For those in southern England who rarely see snow, this is your chance to experience proper winter. Enjoy it if you can. Build a snowman with your children or grandchildren. Take photographs. It's beautiful when you are not trying to drive in it, but respect it. Don't take risks. Don't assume you can handle it just because you watched a YouTube video about driving in snow. And for Scotland, you are going to bear the brunt of this. You are used to winter weather, but this is severe even by Scottish standards. Take it seriously. Don't assume your experience will get you through. These are dangerous conditions in the Highlands. Let me give you the key numbers one more time. Temperatures -10 to -15 Celsius in Scottish Highlands, -5 to -8 in Central Belt, -3 to -5 Northern England, around 0 to -3 Midlands and Wales, just below freezing 2+2 in Southern England. Wind chill, subtract another 10 degrees in exposed areas, -25 in Scottish mountains, -15 in Northern England, -10 in the Midlands. Snowfall totals by Thursday evening: 30 to 60 centimetres Scottish Highlands, 10 to 20 centimetres Central Belt and Southern Scotland, 15 to 25 centimetres Pennines and Lake District, 8 to 15 centimetres Northern England cities, 5 to 10 centimetres Midlands and East Anglia, 25 to 40 centimetres Snowdonia, 1 to 5 centimetres Southern England. Wind speeds 50 to 70 miles per hour Scottish Highlands, 40 to 50 miles per hour Northern England and Wales, 30 to 40 miles per hour elsewhere. Gusts potentially 10 to 20 miles per hour higher. Those are the numbers. That is what we are looking at. You can find more detailed information on the Met Office website. They'll have specific warnings for your area, county-by-county breakdowns, hour-by-hour forecasts. Environment Agency has flood information for England, natural resources, Wales for Wales, sepia for Scotland. Check those if you're in a flood risk area. Traffic Scotland, Traffic Wales, Highways England. They'll have road condition updates. Check before you travel. I'll be back with an update tomorrow evening. If the forecast changes significantly, I'll record an earlier update. But based on current model runs, I'm confident in this forecast through Thursday. Stay warm, stay safe, help each other out. We'll get through this.